Hey guys, this is Carl from carlsapsy.com here with another tutorial. If you have any questions about my videos or anything in general, head to my website and you can message me via my Contact Me page. Or if you want to, just leave me a message down below in the comment section and like my videos and subscribe to me if you want to. So this is going to be the second part of the tutorial, in which we've already created the first part, which is the login system with the password. And now the second part is the actual guessing game. So the actual guessing game is going to go over here. So I'm just going to go ahead and effectively make the space. So where we're going to be making it. Okay, so before, if you remember, I made the logging in system. So which I have here. So I'm just going to go ahead and show that to you again. So that was where you can input username and have your password, and it says you can make progress to the guessing game, or if you created it wrong, you can either say yes or no. If you said yes, it will restart. If you said no, it would log out. And similarly, the same thing would happen if you inputted the wrong password as well. Now we're going to be actually implementing the guessing game, assuming that you have the correct username and the correct password. You should be able to progress to the guessing game. So I'm going to go ahead and take out this break statement here. Okay. Now, what you're going to be doing is we're going to be creating a variable, another variable which is going to have a Boolean statement. So we're going to say, like, to play the game, we're going to make that equal to true. Okay, and we're going to say whilst again this is true. So while true, or while play in this case, then you simply want to go ahead. Okay, there we go. While play, we want to have we need to have parameters as to how high or low, or how low the numbers are going to be. So we can do this by creating random numbers. So the first thing we can do on line 3 here is we can import the random function. The random module, sorry, not the function. This way, when we do this, we can implement the random module, so it will create random numbers. So we can, instead of doing just import random, we can just say from random import star, because this way we don't always have to put dot random at the end of the module name. We don't have to use that as a suffix. Right, so I'm going to be doing, so the first thing we need is a high number. So what's the highest number that we can have? So we can make parameters. So we can make something called high number, and that's going to be equal to a random integer, which we can make between, I don't know, something like, let's say 1 and 100. Okay, and now we can also have a low number. Oh no, let's make this between, high number can be, let's say, between 40 and 100, and let's say the low number is going to be between 1 and, rand int, between 1 and, I don't know, if we say the high number minus 20, let's say minus 15. So it'll be high num minus 15. So whatever the high number is, let's say the high number is 65, then the lowest number can be, I don't know, 50. Yeah. Okay, so now we've created the high number and the low number, and we need to have the actual answer. So the answer, which we're trying to find, is going to be another random number. And that can be, you know, the range of the random number can be anything up to the low number plus 1 up to the high number minus 1. So that means the lowest number can either be 2 or the highest number will be 99. It can never be 1 or 100. That's how the game I'm creating works. You can obviously change this. You don't have to have this. The parameters could be between 1 to 100. That's also completely fine. It's just that I'm choosing to do it this way. Now, another thing we're going to do is we want to make a counter which just to see how many guesses you've had. So I mean, even if you have 10,000 guesses, it should say you've had 10,000 guesses. So we can initialize this by saying guesses is equal to 1. So you're initializing the first guess here. Okay, so that way otherwise it would start off at 0, and you can't really have your first guess being your 0th guess. It has to be your first guess. Okay, and now you can say, you can make a print statement just saying, I have a number, or guess the number between low num and high num. Okay, so all I've said here is guess the number between the low number and the high number. That's effectively the guessing game. So now I can make my first guess, which would be guess is equal to. You can have float numbers if you want. So I mean, you can have decimal point numbers, but that can get very complicated. You know, if you, I don't know, let's say your guess is going to be 32.8695 whatever, then it would just be very annoying. However, in this particular case, it's going to have to be an integer number because we've used a random integer. If you did rand float, it would be a random floating point number, which obviously will get a lot more confusing because it's going to be impossible to guess. So you can have inputs, please enter your guess. Okay, so and remember to close both the parentheses. And we can say now we need a bunch of conditions as to what happens when it's not going to be true, because if you're guessing a number between 2 and 99, I mean the odds of you actually guessing it in the first instance is going to be very small. So it's 0.1. So you can say while the guess does not equal the answer. So whilst the guess that you've made does not equal the actual answer that you've got, or that's been generated. Now we're gonna have to have a bunch of different Boolean statements, conditional statements. So we need to think about what happens. So let's say we've got two numbers. Let's say I'm just gonna make these in comments. Let's say the range is between 40 and 85 or 86, let's say, and we put in a value of 98. What do we do? So we need to make a conditional saying that, and the conditional I'm going to put here is if the guess is greater than the answer, and the guess is greater than the high number, then we want to put print, value out of range. Please retry your guess. Okay, and then over here you can, I'll just put a full stop. Now we're going to increment the value of guesses. So we can say guesses plus equals 1. So, or I mean, you could also just as easily write guesses equals guesses plus 1. Exact same thing, it's just that plus equals makes the code a bit more, it just shortens it, makes it a bit nicer to read. And we can say, print guess number, and then we can put guesses here. So the first one will be guess number 1. Second time you do it, it will be guess number 2. Third time it will be guess number 3, etc. And then we can, restate the guess statement. So we can say integer inputs. Please enter your guess. Okay, and that's the first statement done. So that's your first statement. Now the next one's going to be, we can do the same thing, except what happens if, guess is smaller than answer and guess is smaller than the low number. So you can say if guess is smaller than answer and guess is smaller than low num, and then we're just going to be doing the exact same thing here. We're going to be literally copying and pasting the exact same conditions. Whoops. Right, so there you go. So these are your first two conditions. Now, we need to have just a general case in which, if the guess is smaller than the answer or if the guess is greater than the answer, and also what happens if the guess is correct. So next we can say if guess is greater than answer, just the guess being answer, greater than the answer. However, it's still within the range. So if you got 40 and 65 and you place in 55, but it's too high, then it's still within the range. It's not out the range. So it should print out this statement, not this statement. Okay. So if the guess is greater than the answer, then we can just make a print statement saying guess too high. Please try again. And then again, we can copy this. Because you're doing the exact same thing each time. You're incrementing it once, you're saying the number of guesses, and then you're asking the user to retry. That's why I can just copy and paste this each time. Next is if the guess is going to be smaller than the answer, then I can just take all of this and paste it, and we can say the guess is too low instead. Please try again. The guess is too low. Please try again. Increment it. Number of guesses gets increased by 1, and then you can put in your next guess. And finally, so these are most of them. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4 conditions. Now there's going to be one final condition, which is going to be what happens if the guess is equal to the answer. Well, then you can say, well, hey, correct, or print correct. The answer was, and then you can say answer, and was guessed, and you guessed it, so I'm saying, hey, you've get the correct answer was answer, and you've guessed it in however many attempts. That is all it's saying. So that's what the use of the placeholder values are. Oh no, sorry, that's what that's why I've just directly implemented the variable names. Okay, so that's about it. So now let's go ahead and save this game. Let's go and run it. Right, here we go. Enter the username, Carl. Enter the password, test. 9 and 47. Let's take it as 30. So it's between 30 and 47. Between 30 and 40. So now it's between 30 and 35, so 33. 32. Okay, so correct, the answer was this. Okay, so that means the game does work. It's completely fine now. And what I'm going to be doing is, after you finally guessed the correct number, then you can ask whether they want to actually redo the game if they want to play it again, or whether they just want to quit the game completely, and therefore quit Python. So you can say, you can make a variable, and call this retry, and I'm going to make a retry is equal to an input, which is going to be the exact same thing as I did over here. Sorry, down here. Would you like to try the game again? I can say thank you for playing. Would you like to play again? Yes or no. And then you can say if retry is equal to yes dot lower, then I want play to equal true, as I made play equal to true initially. Otherwise, so you can make an else statement saying thank you for playing the game. Say print thank you for playing the guessing game. Okay, sorry, and saying thank you for playing the game. I can print goodbye, I guess. And then again, you need to string that, goodbye. And then you can just simply quit out of Python because you want to completely quit the game. Okay, so that's really about it, I guess. I mean, what else do you really need to have as the guessing game? So as we've got here, we've got we've created the username, the password, and the entire game is just being implemented here. Like I said, we would do that here. Okay, so let's give it a go. So I'm going to go ahead and quit this game. Right, so let's go ahead and try the actual game out. Okay, so what I thought I should just quickly mention is I paused the video briefly so that I could quickly go over the code, because I've decided to put quite a few comments in just to make sure that, you know, well, that should be 85, to inform the user what they're actually going to be doing. Okay, so this code that I'm going to be doing, I'm going to put onto my video directly, so that way you can actually take it and use it if you'd like to. I don't mind. Okay, so this is the actual code that is there. So if I just quickly go into my terminal. Right, so what I've quickly done is I paused the video so that I could just include some comments into my actual code. So I'm going to put this into, oops, that should be input. I see input Carl, and should be read as Carl, not Sam. Sorry, my I was thinking of something completely different when I was writing Sam for some reason. Anyways, so I've included some comments. Comments just using the hashtag just to inform the user what they're actually doing. So let's go ahead and actually try the game out. So let's guess the username. The username is going to be, well, Carl. What's the password? We know the password is test. So welcome to the system. I've got a number between 9 and 99. Okay, so let's go with 50. So it's now between 50 and 99, because 50 is too low. So now if I go 98, okay, so now I've tested out what happens if the answer is too small or too high. Now if I were to say, let's guess the number is 100, let's say the index number is out of, the value is out of range because it's between 9 and 99. Therefore retry it. Now let's say I do it before, I don't know, 1. The index number is out of range because it's between 9 and 99. So therefore 1 is invalid. Okay, so now let's actually try it. So we know that it's between 50 and 98. So let's go 75 and 98. So let's go 85. 85 is too high, so it's between 75 and 85, so let's go 80. Correct! My number is 80. You've guessed it in 7 attempts, or 7 guesses. Would you like to try it again? Well, if I say yes, now I'm going to quickly pause the video and just quickly do this because I'm sure you don't want to just sit around waiting. So hold on for a sec while I quickly just finish this one. So as you can see here, it says correct, my number is 41, you've guessed it in 6 attempts. Would I like to try it again? Now if I say no, it's just going to go ahead and quit me from the system by saying thank you very much for playing, goodbye. Which is what's happened here. Hence, this is what the code is here. So it's asking me if I want to retry it. If I do want to try it, then let's start from the top and it'll give me the next 2 numbers, which we can then try and play the guessing game again. And this can go on infinitely. We can play the game as many times as we'd like. If you ever say no, you don't want to play it, then you can just quit the game. So, and that's literally about it. So now we have officially made the guessing game. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put this code online. You can get the code from the comment or from the description below, and from there you should be able to access it quite easily. Okay, if you have any other questions, you can always email me or drop me a comment down below. Feel free to subscribe to me or whatever. And thank you very much for watching. This is Carl from carlsapsy.com.